Hi, I'm Geni with the Russell County Extension Office, and we're here at Tractor Supply today to kind of talk to you guys about what should you do when you bring home a brand new dog. I have helpers today. I have my lovely daughter Cheyenne and our cute little mini corgi blue heeler dog we have called Mini Pearl. She's going to lay down on the camera. It's going to be really good. So we're going to talk a little bit about what you need if you bring home an adult dog versus what you need when you bring home a puppy. And there are different considerations for each breed and each different age group of the animals. And we're going to talk first about what kind of houses you should get and what kind of bedding for those big adult dogs that you're going to let live outside. Okay, Cheyenne, so you know when we bring a big dog home, we have to get a big dog house, right? But when we bring little bitty dogs home, we try to match the size of the dog house that goes along with the size of the dog, because dogs, you know, like to live in burrows in the ground. And so we're trying to mimic that burrow so that they feel at home. So that's why we try to get a smaller dog house for smaller dogs and bigger dog houses for bigger dogs. Because you know how they heat up the dog house in the winter, don't you?
They insulate it.
They do. They put out their own body heat, and that's how they heat up the dog house. So if you put Minnie in a big giant dog house, she doesn't put off enough body heat to heat up the whole dog house, so that dog house is going to stay cold. But if you had a smaller dog house for her with some shavings or some sort of bedding in it, she's able to heat that up much easier. And we have some options here to look at for bedding materials to put in the bottom of your dog house. Okay, so first option is straw. Do you think straw is going to be a good option for a bottom of a dog house?
Not very much.
No, I don't think so either, because the straw isn't going to absorb the water and it's going to mold and mildew when it gets wet. And so that's really going to cause a stink problem going on in that dog house and could make your dog sick. Let's look at our next option. We have a couple of options of pine shavings here. These are small, finely graded pine shavings, and these are a little bit more coarsely graded pine shavings. Which do you think would be better for the dog houses?
Probably the big flaky ones.
Yeah, they would. They'd be much better for the dog, for the big flaky ones. Shavings are really good to put in dog houses because they absorb that water when the dog comes in from outside, and they absorb smells. But what is even better for absorbing smells is when we get down here to the cedar shavings. Cedar shavings in the bottom of a dog house are the best insulator. You want to get about 1 to 2 inches thick of those cedar shavings in the bottom of the dog house, and they absorb smells, and plus they make your dog smell like cedar, so it's like they have their own little cologne when they come out of the dog house. So these are actually the best, but you can't use any of these beddings if you have a mama dog who's about to have babies. A mama dog and having babies, you got to have special bed for them. They need to have blankets, or they need to have an actual dog bed, because these guys could absorb the fluid when she has babies, and it could cause a bad disease to pass through all the babies, and it could kill the babies. So we need to make sure if there's a mama dog having babies, we don't put her in a dog house that has any sort of bedding. She's got to have a blanket, or she's got to have an actual dog bed to have her babies in. All right, Cheyenne, we have found a great size dog house for Mini Pearl. This is really good. It's small enough that she can get in there and heat up with her body heat. We'd put some shavings down in the bottom to help insulate that. Plus, this dog house is really good because it has an insulating layer in between the inside and the outside to help hold that body heat in. So this is a really good option for Mini Pearl. But we couldn't use this for our big German Shepherd Smoothie, could we?
No.
How much bigger of a house are we going to have to get for Smoothie?
Probably the biggest they come in.
Probably the biggest they come in, you're right. But we have to size our dog houses based on the size of our dogs, don't we?
Yes, ma'am.
No matter what kind of food you're looking for, the very first ingredient you should always look to make sure your food has is meat. That should be listed as the first ingredient. And if it's not, you should really think about checking out some other brands. The next thing you should look at is to make sure that it has rice as its main starch, because rice is going to help keep puppies and dogs' stomachs healthy and working right. When looking at puppy food, you should especially be aware that puppies should be fed this type of food until they reach full maturity. For small dogs, they should be around 10 to 12 months before you switch them over to adult food. For medium dogs, 12 to 16 months, and for large to giant breeds, up to 2 years you could be feeding them this puppy food. Another thing you should be concerned about is higher calories are needed for puppies, because they need those higher calories for growth, and not to mention all the play they love to do. Half the calories in puppy food are spent on their tissue growth and development. Also, size matters. Choose food designed for the size of your puppy. Your puppy is a little Chihuahua, you may want to buy a smaller size kibble. If your dog is a big Great Dane, they need very different dog foods to help them grow. Those big dog foods has a special ratio of calcium and phosphorus to help the puppies grow.
This would be a very good choice of food for your animal because it starts off with buffalo, lamb meal, chicken meal, and then it finally gets to your sweet potatoes, peas, and potatoes. Minnie, I think you would like this one because of all the meats it has in it and the proteins it has. It has 32% minimum protein, which would be really good for your dog's health.
You should also remember, don't feed your dogs table scraps. Shh, Minnie doesn't like to hear that. She loves table scraps, and my husband is horrible about feeding her the table scraps. But table scraps and human food in general are good for humans, not so good for our dogs and cats. So when we feed those to our dogs, they're getting some unwanted calories, some calories that are going to make them a little chubby around the middle. And the chubbiness can also lead in their old age to obesity and can lead to some pretty serious health problems and health risks. So it's really important to manage your dog's weight, to make sure that you check the back of those packages and see what the feeding ratio should be, and just to make sure that you give your dog a healthy and happy life. Well, this is Minnie Pearl's favorite part of any shopping trip, the toys and the treats. So we have lots of different toy options here. We have toy options that would be appropriate for a dog Minnie's size, but I wouldn't give this to a big dog. I wouldn't give this to our Lab or our German Shepherd. They could easily chew this ball off and swallow it. So what I would do for them is I would give them a much larger option, something that they could chew on, that they're not going to swallow. It's not going to be a health concern for them. So I would make sure that when I bought toys, I would have something of different sizes for the different animals. The same thing when it comes with the Kong balls. I love these. We love to put treats and peanut butter inside here. It keeps the dogs active for hours, paying attention to the Kong. But again, they come in multiple sizes. You wouldn't want to give Smoothie, who is our big German Shepherd, this size Kong ball. She would just chew this up in a heartbeat. But so you would give them size appropriate. So that's kind of really important for you to think about size appropriate toys when you're thinking about dogs. And the same thing for tennis balls. You wouldn't want to throw a little bitty tennis ball like this to Charlotte, our Lab, because she would just grab it and chew it up and she may swallow it and choke on it. So again, size appropriate toys are important. Some other great options for toys are the cloth toys. You just got to be really careful with the cloth toys, because if the dog happens to open them up and get the squeakers out of the inside, sometimes the squeakers are really small and that can be a choking hazard too. So you just need to watch your dogs when they play with their toys to make sure that they aren't going to choke on anything. This one is a really great option because it doesn't have any stuffing inside. It's still that fun texture of chewing on cloth, but it doesn't have any stuffing, so when they rip it apart, it's not going to spread all over the house. So that's a really good option to look at. And this guy is really big and tough. He's made out of blue jean material, so it's going to be really tough for the dog to tear up. So this is a good option too for our large dogs to play with, so they have something that they can play a little bit more rough with and play a little tug of war with. So that's going to be a lot of fun for them as well. And then Minnie's favorite are dog treats, which is why she's a little chubby. She loves dog treats. So when I get dog treats, I try to make sure that there's something healthy, that she's going to get something good out of it. So I really like to look at dog treats that not only are good for them and they're fun for them to eat, but they also can clean their teeth. There's lots of different dog treats that'll get in there and clean the plaque, because it's really important that dogs also get clean teeth. That's why they have to go to the vet, and sometimes they even have the vet give a little dental cleaning to make sure they get all the plaque off their teeth. So giving them treats that are healthy and satisfying, but also give them a little bit of health advantage as well, is a great idea. And so that brings us to a good point, is if you want your dog to be the healthiest, no matter how many toys, how many beds, treats you buy them, the best thing to do is to take them to a vet. And we'll visit our vet with our dog, usually in the first week that we have it, and take her in for a checkup, make sure she's healthy. They'll pull some blood, they'll give her her shots, give her her rabies shots, just to make sure that she's healthy and ready to go to her new home and be with her other friends that are going to be at the house, and she's not bringing any kind of bad diseases for the house as well. So the vet is great source of information too. So if you're concerned, I don't know if I'm buying the right dog food, I don't know if I'm buying the right treats, please contact a vet. They are so helpful, and they'll be great to give you some really good advice about how to take care of your canine friend better.
It is really important to get your animals from shelters and pounds, because those dogs need all the love they can get, for they have not been cared for before. It also will help with the overpopulation of animals in the world, because at the moment there's way too many animals for humans, and they cannot be taken care of. It'll also help getting dogs from shelters, because of the overpopulation in the shelters itself, where they are now having to euthanize all the animals. It is also important to spay and neuter your dogs, so that it will help with the overpopulation of the world, and it also will help with cancers that could inflict your dog and cause pain and suffering, not only for you, but for the dog itself. It now is really important to think of all these before getting a dog of your choosing.
We're so thankful for Tractor Supply letting us come in today and film here, so that we can show everybody what dogs need when they first come home to live with the family. They are just there for love, companionship, and to make your life a little better. 4-H week is coming up soon here at Tractor Supply. It's going to be October 5th through the 15th, and they'll be selling paper clovers, and they're $1 a piece. So come in, buy a paper clover for $1. They'll write your name on it, put it up on the front windshield of the store, and you'll get to have your name up there for the whole month. And your money comes back here to Russell County to help promote 4-H here in the county, help us do great projects like our Good Dog U training camp, our Chick Chain program, and all the great fun things we have planned for our kids here in Russell County. So we have talked a lot about dogs, dog care when you first get it home, but you know what we're going to do? You know what's coming next summer? Good Dog U. We're going to have an opening for 15 kids to be able to come and do a 6-week dog training program with the dogs they have at home. So would you be interested in doing that?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Who are you going to bring? Which dog?
Probably Mini Pearl.
Mini Pearl. All right. Well, Mini Pearl's always a winner, and she's had a really fun time here at Tractor Supply. And so hopefully y'all have gotten some good information, liked hearing about dogs, and liked hearing about our 4-H programs, and we look forward for you guys getting involved with us soon.